My name's John Wakefield. That's myself there, and that's Robert Beetson. Robert had a brother, Neville Beetson, who was always very prominent at the sailing club here. I first became associated with the Point Chevalier Sailing Club in about 1956, when myself and Don Barn had a Z class, which was kept on the Hard at Westhaven. And on Point Chev racing days, we launched boats there, sailed up to Point Chev, had a race here, and then sailed back to Westhaven. No cars or trailers were available then, in those days. The club is situated at, I think it was 2 Joan Street, and on quite a steep bank, which had only had footpaths going from the road down to the beach. So there was no storage of boats on the beach around that area. Everything had to be manhandled down onto the beach and rigged and sailed there. Point Chev Sailing Club was the Auckland sponsor for the Moffat Cup, which was for Eidolon type boats. It had a strong fleet of probably 10 or 12 at that time. And of course we built our own boats. That's one of the boats we built. It's the second boat we built, IA-10. We built 3 of these boats, all Eidolons here. This one is at Dunedin, where we won the Moffat Cup. And that's Don Barn, that's Michael Lanigan, and that is myself. The boat normally sailed with 2, but in high winds you could carry an extra crew. We competed down in Dunedin, on the Dunedin Harbour, which was a real funnel for wind. And we won the contest and came back to Auckland. At the same time, myself and Don Barn had got a Flying Dutchman and were attempted to compete in the selection trials for the Olympics. At the time, Helmut Pedersen won and represented New Zealand. So ultimately, Don Barnes, my skipper, he continued in the Flying Dutchman, and I built a Moth class. The New Zealand Moth class was probably the strongest class here at the Point Chev Sailing Club. Though they were light and easy to get down the ramp, down to the footpaths, onto the beach, whereas the Eidolon was quite a 12'6" and quite a wide boat. It was quite difficult to get up and down, so it took the joint effort of all those interested. So it was P class, of course, which was quite popular. And that's 3 of us sailing on the Contender class. A single-man 16-foot yacht was touted to become one of the Olympic classes, but that didn't actually eventuate. But we ended up with a reasonable fleet of those and a lot of support, and we always had a good fleet sailing at Point Chev. In the earlier days, of course, most boats were kept on properties along the foreshore here, or Westhaven, where they were just stored on trailers at Westhaven and sailed to and from Point Chev for events. And so there were boats in the backyards, and they all had little wharfs and jetties and things. Yeah, you had to allow a fair bit of time to get your boats up and down and that. But there was a good following of people. They were all friends and they all helped one another. And the families used to, or friends or girlfriends or whatever, always came down and were on the beach and that. I remember dealing with the council in obtaining the use of the land here, and we actually put the foundation work into about half of the area we currently have here, former breakwater. This was just the members coming down and doing the hard work. We had probably 20 odd young people, probably under 17, 18 to 20. And we came down here, we put the drums in a big circle and piled them with rocks off the beach, and there they stayed. Ultimately, when the council assisted, they came and put a rock foreshore over the drums and barrels, and the council assisted with the machine work and the footpaths and the sealed area. Initially, it wasn't the intention to shift the clubhouse. We at the time thought the clubhouse had a great spot, and it had a magnificent view of the whole area, but it became practical that the building itself, the foundations were slipping away under the old clubhouse, and the cost of rebuilding it just became prohibitive. So the Raymond Street Reserve portion here become the logical place to move to, and the council were quite happy with that because the clubhouse almost protruded halfway across Joan Street. I was the Commodore here in 62 and 63, and it was mainly the dance and the sailing administration. Of course, the income from the dancers enabled the club to take quite a large representation of members to the Moffat Cups held throughout New Zealand. So there was always a large number, and that was sort of sponsored by the club itself. The dancers were quite established and very popular, and every Saturday night the Sailing Club's hall was absolutely packed. We had a permanent Hawaiian style band that were there every week, and we all the committee was always active in having on the doors and keeping control of people and keeping it going. But the hall used to swing. The floor used to go up about 6 inches every time everyone jumped. The strong people in the club was, of course, Barry Donovan. For many years he was really the organiser and the person who kept the thing working. And members like Lowell Solomon, of course, is legendary, yeah. But the world was different then. There was people who came down to clubs to do things, and they came down all the time, regularly, and did the same things. They put the suppers on, or a cup of tea, or pulled the boats in and out. There was always people who joined clubs to be in clubs, even though they may not have sailed. Life was different.